What if I told you that in just 90 days, you could completely transform into a stronger, wiser, and more intentional version of yourself? Just 90 days, not a year, not a lifetime. Yes, you heard me right. 3 months from now, the version of you that hesitates, gets distracted, and wastes hours looking for inspiration will be gone. In its place will stand a focused, disciplined individual who wakes up with a clear purpose every day. You'll stop chasing fleeting feelings and start leading them. You'll no longer react to life's demands, but make calculated, deliberate choices. Instead of searching for motivation, you'll become the source of it. This isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. If you're committed to making the next 90 days the most disciplined and transformative of your life, then take this journey with me, from beginning to end. This transformation isn't just about building habits or physical challenges. It's a journey of mental training grounded in Stoic philosophy. True happiness comes from living with reason, mastering your emotions, and focusing on what you can control. When you approach those 90 days through the lens of Stoicism, you don't just change your lifestyle, you change who you are at your core. If you're ready to take the first step, comment 90 days of discipline below the video to signal your commitment to yourself. Don't just be a passive observer. Begin the journey of mastering the art of distinguishing the controllable. If there's one thing you can focus on in the next 90 days, it's this. Ask yourself the most important question in Stoic philosophy: is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. If it is, take action immediately, without hesitation. Epictetus, the Stoic master, once said, "Some things are up to us and some are not up to us." This distinction is the foundation of Stoicism. Life is unpredictable. Storms rage, markets fluctuate, people betray, and illness strikes. While you can't control the world, you can control your response to it. And it's only when you grasp this that you begin to live as a true inner warrior, steadfast, undistracted, and in command of your emotions. Your 90-day journey will mean nothing if you keep fighting battles that aren't yours. If you spend time on social media, worry about what others think, or wait for someone's approval, you're wasting precious energy. That's a warrior who can't tell the difference between the real fight and the distractions. The hard truth is, many of us lose not because we're weak, but because we're fighting the wrong battles. That's why the first step in your 90-day challenge isn't about reading, meditating, or working out. It's about clearing the distractions, turn off notifications, delete the apps, and cut out social media if necessary. Not because it's inherently bad, but because it's beyond your control. You can't control what others post or how they react online, but you can control whether you let it pull you into that distracting space. And if you're not resolute from the start, you're already fighting a losing battle. You will never truly engage in the inner battle unless you prepare for it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, began each day with a ritual, not to pray, but to reflect. He reminded himself of what he was likely to face: chaos, rudeness, ignorance. He wrote these things down, not as complaints, but as mental training to fortify his thoughts. He told himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These were not just words, but a strategy, a mental armor to protect his peace in a world full of noise. Maybe you're thinking, "I'm no emperor, I'm just an ordinary person." But that's exactly the point. Stoicism is not reserved for kings. It's for anyone willing to live with intention. The first battlefield is always the mind. Discipline begins with how you think, not letting your thoughts be hijacked by what you can't control. For the next 90 days, live like your energy is limited to just 24 hours a day, and you can't afford to waste any of it on things beyond your control. When someone offends you, don't strike back. Ask, do I control their words? No. Can I control my response? Yes. Then act from that power. When work stress builds because someone else lags behind, pause. You don't control them. But you do control your own rhythm, your reactions, your choices. That's where your power lies. And the miracle? Once you learn to separate what's yours from what belongs to the world, a quiet freedom begins to emerge. Not because life becomes easier, but because you're no longer at the mercy of what you can't control. That's true inner resilience. That's Stoicism, not as theory, but as instinct. It flows through your breath, your pulse, your choices. So, if you're asking what you should do over the next 90 days, here's your first step. Build the habit of distinction. Each morning, each challenge, each reaction, pause and assess. This isn't a hack. It's a way of life. You don't need to control the world. You only need to control yourself. That's where real transformation begins. If you're serious about changing who you are over the next 90 days, then here is your non-negotiable path. No fantasizing, no shortcuts, just deliberate action. Stoicism isn't meant to entertain you. It's a battle-tested system for life, meant to be lived moment by moment. We'll move together through 5 core pillars, 5 blades that forge the inner warrior. Each one is a challenge, and it all begins with the first pillar, mastering the rational mind. It may sound simple, but it's everything. So what does mastery truly mean? Where do you begin? Welcome to Pillar 1, Mind, nurturing your inner world through reading, thinking, and writing. That's how it starts. Now it's time to anchor your thoughts in a single powerful rule of life. Nourish. Train your reason daily through reading, thinking, and writing. This isn't a soft recommendation or a motivational quote to scroll past. It's a survival command. In a world drowning in chaos where distractions fight for your attention every second, an untrained mind doesn't just drift, it disintegrates. That's why you must carve out 1 sacred hour every day. No excuses, no delays. 1 hour to ground yourself, to slow your pace, to absorb wisdom. Open Marcus Aurelius's Meditations or Epictetus's Enchiridion, not for amusement, but to let their clarity cut through your emotional fog. When Marcus writes, "You have the power not to make a judgment," he's not just reminding himself, he's reaching through time to remind you. True freedom begins by mastering the battlefield of your own thoughts. But don't stop at simply reading. Take it deeper. Copy down 3 to 5 quotes that strike your core, by hand, not by typing. Because when you write something manually, it doesn't just pass through your eyes, it sinks into your bones. And while your hand moves, your mind reshapes. When you inscribe, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. You aren't memorizing, you're transforming. Then, act. Write down a clear way to apply that idea today. Not in vague ideals, but in your real life. Walking into a tough meeting, pause. Remind yourself, their anger is not my truth. My response defines me. That's how Stoicism becomes not just knowledge, but muscle. This daily habit, though small in appearance, is the furnace in which your reason is forged, slowly, steadily, 1 day at a time. You don't read to impress others or to stockpile quotes for conversations. You read to clear out the basement of your mind, the place where silent anxieties, reflexive judgments, and hidden biases settle like dust, unnoticed and unchecked. Writing, even if it's just a few sentences, forces vague emotions and swirling thoughts into clarity. It dissects confusion and brings shape to the formless. It's how you take ownership of your mind. And few lives embody this quiet resilience more than that of Laura Hillenbrand, a woman who proved that stillness of the body does not mean stillness of will. Hillenbrand was ravaged by chronic vestibular disorder, so debilitating that standing upright became nearly impossible. She spent years isolated, her body frail, and her world confined to a room. Yet within those limits, she wrote Seabiscuit and Unbroken, 2 masterpieces that captured the world and inspired millions. Her strength wasn't loud. It didn't shout. It typed word by word through pain and limitation. She didn't wait for motivation. She chose discipline. She didn't curse her condition. She transformed it into a crucible for greatness. Her body was bound, but her mind was never caged. This is the essence of modern Stoicism. Not grand gestures, but steadfast intention. You don't need her illness to find that same inner liberty, but without daily reading, thinking, and writing, you're leaving your mind exposed to every passing storm. Strength of mind is not luck, it is a product of effort. 1 hour each morning is not indulgence. It is your responsibility. It's time to begin a conversation with yourself, one that clears your thinking, strengthens your resolve, and prepares your soul for whatever trials may come. If you stick to this practice for 90 days, something subtle but profound will occur. The outside world will no longer dictate your emotions. You'll find yourself pausing before reacting, responding with intent rather than impulse. You'll begin to feel unshaken by the chaos around you because your foundation has been built deliberately, one disciplined thought at a time. This is not about grand ideas or lofty ideals. It's about simple, unglamorous repetition. That is what cultivates the Stoic spirit. And with that mindset in place, we turn now to Pillar 2, body, disciplining it through voluntary hardship. Pillar 2, body, disciplining the body through voluntary challenges. Discipline often gets mistaken for drudgery, just rules and rigidity. But to the Stoics, discipline is a form of liberation. It's the key that unlocks freedom from laziness, distraction, and dependency on comfort. True discipline comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from leaning into it by choice. When we step into discomfort, be it cold, fatigue, or hunger, we are not punishing ourselves. We are training ourselves to lead. Roman Stoics like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius didn't just preach resilience, they lived it. They chose bodily hardship as mental exercise, forging inner steel through outer struggle. Seneca, for instance, would intentionally live with little food and rough clothing, not for show, but to ask himself, is this the condition that I feared? That single question flips fear inside out and strips it of its power. What we dread, cold, hunger, exhaustion, are often illusions that vanish when we meet them head-on. In the next 90 days, you don't need to become a warrior overnight. You just need to show up and train daily. Whether it's running laps, holding a plank, doing push-ups, hitting a punching bag, or enduring 5 minutes under freezing water, it all counts. The key is to go where your body resists. That resistance is the forge. Every shiver, every drop of sweat is a quiet but firm statement. I refuse to live in comfort. Stoicism is not about self-inflicted pain. It's about shedding softness that weakens the spirit. When the body is never pushed, it slows. When the mind is never tested, it cracks under pressure. We now live in a world of near total ease, fast food on demand, constant climate control, endless digital entertainment to distract us from discomfort. But these luxuries come at a cost. They steal our toughness, they numb our edge, and when the storms of life inevitably come, we find we have no armor. That's why this challenge isn't about toughness for show. It's about reclaiming your strength. Every time you fast for a day and feel hunger, you learn that you're stronger than it. And when you step into a cold shower first thing in the morning, you're not just waking up your body, you're waking up your will. You feel your body resist at first, but soon after your mind becomes clear, decisive, and alive. That's when you realize nothing outside you has power if you walk into it willingly. Cold may startle you, but it isn't the enemy. The real danger is hesitation, the slow drip of procrastination, the quiet compromise you make when things get slightly uncomfortable. Today it's, I'm too tired, or it's too cold, and tomorrow it becomes your pattern. That small surrender becomes your default response to challenge. Stoics knew the truth. Virtue isn't born from rare moments of passion, but from consistent, deliberate repetition. You don't need hype, you need habit. So while the world hits snooze, you run. While others scroll into the night, you meditate. While warmth tempts, you stand under cold water. And by doing this daily for 90 days, you don't just build muscle. You carve out an identity, the kind that doesn't waver when storms come. No spotlight, no applause, just quiet proof that you rule yourself. So now the question shifts to you. Have you ever taken on a physical challenge not to show off, but to sharpen your will? Have you used discomfort as a tool to forge discipline? Share your experience in the comments. I want to hear how you've fought your own inner battles. And now we arrive at Pillar 3, mission, performing your duties like a Stoic. None of us are here by accident. The Stoics called it the Logos, an invisible design that governs the cosmos. And within that vast order, every single person has a purpose, a calling that can't be outsourced or ignored. This isn't about following a temporary passion or chasing a childhood fantasy. It's about recognizing your assignment, one shaped by your gifts, your time, and your place in the grand order. And it's time to meet that task head-on. We must rise to the task and become the person we're truly meant to be. Marcus Aurelius, though he ruled the greatest empire of his time, never let that power make him forget his responsibility. Each morning, he would write in his private journal, not for legacy, not for others to admire, but to remind himself of his purpose. I must not delay. I must not give in to fatigue. I must not excuse myself. I wasn't made for comfort, but for action. These are not the musings of a philosopher resting on status, but the declarations of a man devoted to reason, one who refused to run from his role, no matter how chaotic or exhausting life became. To the Stoics, duty isn't a chain, it is the source of freedom. Once we understand our purpose and commit fully, we stop being blown about by praise or blame. We no longer live at the mercy of moods or motivation. Duty doesn't wait for the perfect mood. It waits only to be fulfilled. So in the next 90 days, set your sights on a real mission. Something specific, something wholehearted. Don't aimlessly drift. Ask yourself with clarity, what is my work? Not the job that pays the bills, but the work that brought me to this point in time. Maybe it's completing the book you've been avoiding. Maybe it's mastering a skill that will open a new chapter of your life. Or maybe it's repairing a fractured bond with someone who still matters. The mission doesn't need applause or grandeur, but it does need weight. It must matter enough that quitting becomes unthinkable. And when you've chosen it, dive into focused action. Let deep work be your battlefield. Each day reserve 90 minutes, no phones, no noise, no excuses. Shut the door, eliminate every interruption, and show up with full presence, just like a Stoic would. This isn't just about working hard, it's about working with reverence. In those 90 minutes, you aren't merely checking off tasks, you are stepping onto your personal battlefield. It's not about getting it done, it's about answering a call, fulfilling a piece of your purpose. In that moment, you are no different from Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus, men who faced the chaos of the world and chose duty over distraction. You will feel it, the subtle rise of resistance, the temptation to delay, the whisper that says this work may not be worth it. That's the exact moment where you must stay firm. Stoics don't wait for inspiration or ideal feelings. They act first and trust that virtue will shape the emotions that follow. Fulfilling your mission also demands a sacrifice, not of comfort alone, but of the weaker self. The one that craves ease, the one that seeks escape, the one that always wants to negotiate its way out. People won't always get it. Some will say you're too intense. Others might call you joyless, but you aren't here for approval. You're here to answer the call. And as you continue, day by day through fatigue, doubt, and solitude, you will transform. You'll stop waiting for motivation and instead become its source. You'll stop chasing achievements and begin living with purpose. You'll stop being swayed by the noise and become grounded in clarity. That sacred ground where you trade fleeting comfort for lasting meaning, where you meet your mission each morning with quiet discipline, is where Stoicism breathes. It is where ideals stop being words and start becoming your way of life. Fulfilling your duty isn't just a task, it's a privilege. And over the next 90 days, let duty be the banner you carry into every choice. Pillar 4. Stillness, meditation, and self-reflection. In a world that never quiets, sitting in stillness becomes a powerful rebellion. Every pause today is drowned in pings, deadlines, and constant chatter. But the Stoics reject that frenzy. They don't let life sweep them away. They stop, breathe, and reclaim their space. Stillness for them isn't luxury. It's essential. It's a sacred moment to evaluate, reset, and return to their center. Marcus Aurelius, burdened with ruling the Roman Empire, still ended each day with private reflections. Did I live by my values? What did I do wrong? How can I improve? These weren't mere journal entries. They were sharpening sessions for his character, trimming away illusions and false impulses so reason could thrive. This practice wasn't withdrawal, it was preparation. Like a seasoned warrior who steps back to clean his armor and sharpen his blade, stillness allows you to re-enter life's chaos stronger. The act of pausing, of listening inward, becomes how you protect clarity in a world that pulls you in every direction. It's how you recognize your fears before they own you, observe your anger before it lashes out, and remind yourself what kind of person you are striving to become. That daily retreat, even for a few minutes, trains you to carry peace into the battlefield of your day. When you sit down, embrace silence and simply breathe. No phones, no music, no distractions, just you. This moment isn't just to exist, but to truly experience how you're living. 10 to 20 minutes each day is all you need. No complicated techniques, just a peaceful environment, soft lighting, and the resolve not to escape from yourself. Sit and observe the rhythm of your breath. Inhale and exhale, watching as a silent observer. Whenever thoughts pop up, don't resist them. Simply notice them and return to the present moment. In the beginning, your mind may feel chaotic, and that's exactly the point. Stillness isn't instant calm. It's the bravery to confront that mental noise, piece by piece, without running away. If sitting still feels uncomfortable, take a quiet walk instead, maybe in the soft light of dusk or dawn. Walk slowly, grounding each step into the earth. With each movement, scattered thoughts will gently fade, like fog clearing in the morning. In that stillness, you reconnect with yourself, not through the lens of obligations or notifications, but as a real human being with both strengths and vulnerabilities, hidden fears and untapped potential. Before you sleep, turn off all lights, sit in silence for 15 minutes, not to judge yourself, but to learn. Jot down 1 or 2 things you discovered about your day, whether it's a failure or a small victory you can be proud of. This isn't about recording accomplishments. It's about creating an inner map, each night marking a new milestone, every line a step closer to the person you want to be. This seemingly small act lies at the heart of Stoicism, inner self-mastery. No one compels you to do it, and no one rewards you for it. That is precisely what makes it so valuable. This commitment is made to yourself, requiring no audience, no applause, only your own integrity. Stillness doesn't make you passive. On the contrary, it sharpens you into a careful observer, one who no longer reacts impulsively, unfazed by fleeting distractions. You become the master of yourself. Deliberate, clear, and profound. In this quiet space, you hear most clearly the voice of reason, duty, and the path that lies before you. So, if you're looking for the hidden force that can truly change you over the next 90 days, begin with this simple practice. Sit, breathe, reflect. Once you've mastered stillness, you'll understand why the next step in this journey is inevitable. By then, you'll have no excuses. You'll see yourself with clarity, and procrastination will find no hiding place. The next step is iron discipline. No turning back, no compromises. Are you ready? If there's one thing that Stoic philosophy can't tolerate, it's procrastination. Not because procrastination is a sin, but because it is a trap. A form of self-deception that convinces us I'll do it later, just not today. Or worse, it's fine to skip one day. But Stoicism doesn't thrive on promises made in the moment. It requires action now, without delay. Stoicism is built on action. In the ancient Roman army, which was the birthplace of many Stoic philosophers, discipline was not optional. It was a requirement for survival. A soldier could make no excuses, take no unauthorized leave, and could not postpone training. Discipline wasn't just about building strength in the body, but also about fortifying the mind. Each training session represented a promise to oneself. Even Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, made no exceptions. He wrote before dawn, trained despite countless responsibilities, and adhered to his path of virtue with unwavering consistency. For him, virtue left no room for negotiation. And so, it must be for you. Once you embark on this 90-day journey, you are no longer someone who waits for time. You are someone who creates it. This means that if you've set a goal to read 10 pages, run 3 kilometers, or write 500 words today, nothing can interrupt you. No, I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'm too tired. No bargaining. The moment you yield is the moment you let old habits and the weaker version of yourself regain control. You might think, but there are days when I'm truly exhausted. Stoicism acknowledges that reality, but it is not cruel. It is rooted in integrity. If you miss your morning session, the afternoon is still available. If you skip today, you are duty-bound to make it up tomorrow, not because anyone else is enforcing it, but because you chose to honor this journey with self-respect. Habits are not built on inspiration. Habits are built by showing up, day after day, with no exceptions. Just like when you promise a friend you'll be on time for training, and you don't arrive late because you respect them. On this journey, that friend is you. Will you keep your promise? Reflect for a moment. How many times have you given up after just one day off? How many goals remain incomplete because you allowed flexibility to justify laziness? Stoicism teaches us that virtue doesn't arise from feelings, but from consistent actions. The day you don't feel like it but push through anyway, that's when true growth happens. Take a simple example. You set the rule to be in bed by 11 p.m., but last night you scrolled through your phone until 1 a.m. Yet this morning, you still wake up at 6 a.m., meditate for 10 minutes, and write in your journal. Not because you're a machine, but because you refuse to break your promise to yourself. Are you tired? Then go to bed earlier tonight. But don't avoid the responsibility of yesterday. It's in those moments, when you step out of bed for a cold shower, or force yourself to write with a distracted mind, that you win. You're not defeating someone else. You're conquering the weak habit inside you. No negotiation isn't just a phrase, it's a living strategy. When you live by this principle, there's no need to ask yourself every morning, should I train today? The answer has already been decided from day one. You must, and so you will. Save your willpower, focus your energy, and turn action into identity. Day after day, you transform into someone unrecognizable, even to yourself. 90 days ago, it wasn't because you were superhuman, but because you kept your word. No quitting, no compromise, no bargaining with yourself. These are the 3 stages of challenge. Every 90-day journey begins with blazing determination. Inspiration surges and the image of a new, improved version of yourself appears, clear and promising. But as with any truly worthwhile quest, challenges don't wait long. They arrive unannounced, quietly, but inevitably, through 3 psychological walls that anyone committed to change must overcome. It is at these 3 resistance points that Stoicism, the philosophy of discipline and reason, becomes your compass, keeping you steady against the opposing winds. The first wall appears between days 7 to 10, when enthusiasm begins to fade. The first week passes easily on waves of excitement, but by day 7, your body begins to protest. Your mind, accustomed to ease, starts whispering, I'm too tired, let's skip today. And here you face the first resistance, not from the outside world, but from within yourself. This is the moment when reason must make a choice: act or abandon. The philosopher Epictetus taught that the only thing we truly own is our reactions and our actions. No one forces you to wake up early to meditate. No one checks if you read or train on schedule. It is only you and your personal choice. The first wall is not tall, but it is cunning. It lures you with seemingly reasonable excuses. Just this once, you've worked hard enough. But Stoicism allows no concessions. Action builds habit, and habit shapes destiny. When you overcome the first wall, you do more than defeat laziness. You plant the seed of resolve. The second wall appears around day 30, when everything becomes boring. You've made it a month. Your body begins to adapt, and what once felt difficult, waking early, cold showers, and deep work, has become routine. Yet boredom seeps in like a thin smoke. The initial thrill is gone, and the results are not as impressive as expected. You find yourself repeating the same schedule like a machine, and your mind starts to question, am I just wasting my time? It is precisely in this state of monotony that many people falter. They change goals, break the system, and seek something new. But that is the trap of inconsistency. The Stoic does not act on inspiration. The Stoic acts out of duty. In the quiet of the second month, those who live by Stoicism delve deeper into their inner selves. They do not search for novelty outside, but discover depth in familiar actions. The final wall appears around day 60, when you become someone else. Then, the miracle happens. There is no trumpet fanfare, no dazzling light. One morning, you wake up and go through your routine naturally, without strain. You open your book, you meditate, you train. Everything flows as smoothly as breathing. You've been reborn. This is the phase of inner transformation where action has taken root in your being. There is no sense of coercion, no negotiation. Discipline is no longer a burden, but part of your identity. As John Dryden wrote, we first make our habits, and then our habits make us. From that moment, a new version of you emerges, calmer, clearer, and unshakable. Stoicism does not promise ease, but if you pass through these 3 walls, you will understand why Marcus Aurelius called an obstacle the path. For each time you rise despite fatigue, each time you remain steadfast despite boredom, you are cultivating a virtue that no one can take from you. A 90-day journey is not merely a battle against old habits. It is a coming-of-age ceremony for a mind guided by reason. The 3 walls, those 3 trials by fire, transform you, not only into someone stronger, but into an entirely different person. When you embark on the 90-day journey in the Stoic spirit, you're not just building habits, you're honing character. Each pillar, from reason, physical fitness, and duty to tranquility and discipline, is a battlefield. You must hold firm every single day and face every challenge head-on. Every moment you feel like giving up, Stoicism reminds you that it's precisely in those moments when you are forging virtue. It's not just empty theory, it's practical action, sweating, resisting laziness, and confronting yourself directly. So if you truly lock in for 90 days, who will you become? Which wall do you think will be the toughest to overcome? Wall 1, 2, or 3? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to read them and respond. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it, share it with someone who needs it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming Stoic content. And don't look away. Your next video is waiting for you right here. Keep going, stay strong, and show no mercy.